What's up, guys? Synthetic Division here. So today's video is going to be kind of a jumbled one. I had recorded some footage of tearing down the Bitaxe GT800 from Tiny Chip Hub, but audio died on it. That's my bad. But hey, the show must go on. So let's get into it. I've already got it tore apart. I'll actually show the reassembly process because I really want you guys to understand some features about this one. So let's look at the board real fast since we've already got it. Notice that TCH put a copper heatsink here, or a copper plate. That is to keep you from crushing the ASICs. Well done there. That's awesome. These pads right here and the two ASICs had thermal paste on them. So let's see if we can see the one chip there and chip there. Now, Tiny Chip Hub uses brand new chips for all of their miners. They also use the BX168 high performance thermal paste. I don't have any on that on hand, but it's really good. I've never had any trouble with it. The only time I've ever had trouble with their thermal paste is when I cooked it on the Zyber 8S. But we'll show the reassembly process, the stand, everything. But that's what it looks like. Here's our heatsink. This heatsink is oriented in the east to west position. When I was recording before, I didn't show any hot spots here. I'll redo that so you guys can see it. The pads of this miner are actually with this, so no problems. I'm curious though, it'd be cool if you could mount it the other way, but nope, you couldn't. It did run into that fan header. It does have one fan header on the front, and it does have a splitter for a second fan on the back. They have pre-installed heat sinks, which is great. Big, tall aluminum heat sinks. I think TCH knows what's going on there. I'm not sold on the copper stuff. But yeah, let's get to it. Let's get with it here. So we're going to reattach the heatsink. This is going to be fun because they have that there to keep you from killing the ASICs, which is great, but we still got to put it on. And, when you're putting on a 4-hole heatsink, it's always fun. Always fun. And I'm blind, so, that's how it goes. So let me get some thermal paste here. Thought I had some laying around here somewhere. Yeah, so let's put some MX7 on. And now remember, we have to paste these pads and the ASICs, guys. If you don't paste those pads, these things will get real hot real fast. Let's go ahead and put some thermal paste there. About not much, it should work. Now for the pads, go ahead and lay it on a little thicker, guys, okay? Remember that these pads are the backside of the TPSs, so in the VREGs and all that. So we need to make sure we put it on pretty good dollops on that. That way that the heatsink can thermal transfer very well there. So, and it looks like this is going to be the top here. So we're going to go like this, and we're going to grab one screw and help us align it. So we'll put one in here, and actually I think we're going to do two. I'm just going to do the two bottom ones for now. And now I'm going to take my hat, which has the mic, and I'm just going to set it off to the side a little bit, and we can use our small screwdriver. And I'll take my glasses off. I always wear a hat, so I'll take it off for this part. Man, oh Friday, look at that. We got it on the first try. Now remember, when you're trying to put these on like that and you lift it and drop it, lift it and drop it, you can create a pocket on top of that heatsink. And you do not want that. So we'll just go ahead and get these screws put in right here. And Tiny Chip Hub was smart using that little heatsink in between, that little copper plate, to keep you from crushing the ASICs. That's pretty good. Pretty good idea there. So we're going to go ahead and just start sending these home. Nice and easy, guys. Don't need to get crazy with them. The heatsink was tight, but not wrenched on tight. Like, they weren't crushing it. There was no bowing in the board or anything like that. Bowing the board will cause a cracked ASIC real fast. Alright, so now I can put my eyeballs back on and my hat with the mic on it. Hopefully you guys heard me through that. Let's go ahead and get going here, and here, and here, and here. Okay, our heatsink is back in place. We got a little bit of thermal paste plunging out the top there, and that's okay. We'll let it be. We'll be just fine. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. So let's go ahead. Here is our stand, half of our stand, and they use these studs with these anodized red nuts. I love this. This is why Tiny Chip Hub is awesome. That, and they were one of the first companies to ever support the channel by sending me the Zyber 8S, which was fantastic. I still have it running. I get a lot of crap for leaving that running because it's not very efficient, but you know what? I don't care. They were nice enough to support the channel. I'll run that thing till it dies or till it's just, I'll probably run it forever, to be honest. I actually have it hooked to the P-Sub board that I got from Nikos over at the Tech Nerd Army, the Bitcoin Tech Nerd Army on the Discord there. Super awesome, dude. Won a giveaway on there. Got that. Man, I've been 1 for 1 on giveaways lately. Pretty awesome, actually. So let's go ahead and do that. The screws are tight. These are just tight, guys. You don't need to crank them down. They're just tight. These are 5.5 millimeter. So I have a whole little nut driver kit like this. Pick one of these up at Walmart. But it's got a 5.5 millimeter nut driver on it, which is pretty nice. And we'll go ahead and turn this like this, and we'll put our screen back on, like so. When you're putting the screens on, only put pressure here. Don't put it on the screen itself. You can make it very upset. So now, like I said before, this has dual fans. So we have one on the back and then the one on the front. So our header goes here. The header cable is routed through the heatsink, and then we can go ahead and put it back on here. And we are good. Make sure all the pins are lined up. Looks like we are good. Here's the base of our stand, and this just sets in here. Comes with a cool Bitcoin in there that comes out. A physical Bitcoin, not a real one though. Too bad it wasn't a real Bitcoin. And then it just sits in there like so. Pretty stable stand. You know, it's got some heft to it. Pretty nice setup. It says insert luck. So I got this miner in a giveaway from that was being done by proofofmike and Tiny Chip Hub. Both fantastic company. Proofofmike, awesome dude. Does a lot of blogging and stuff like that. Does a lot of research, and he's running a Facebook group. So super good dude. Did a giveaway. Surprise, I won. So you know what? Why not support it? We'll talk about it. I'll leave links to Proof of Mike's stuff on the down below and his X handle. Go give him a follow, please. Super good dude. We've had a lot of private discussions about cool stuff, obviously related to crypto mining. And then, of course, I have an affiliate lead with Tiny Chip Hub, so I'll leave that down below. Like I said, guys, buy one, get one right now on all their miners except the BM1373, the Cyber Blanc. So if you want an 8G or an 8S or a Nerd QX++ Remastered Edition, they have it. These are $199, but you get 2 of them if you buy them. Like, can't go wrong there. So let's move over to the table. Let's plug it in. Make sure everything's working. Make sure I didn't screw anything up. And then we'll wrap this video up. So hang on just a second, guys. All right, guys. So we're back to the table. This is the power supply it ships with. 180 watt power brick for a 40 to 45 watt miner. That's pretty impressive. But that's Tiny Chip Hub. They don't screw around. They want you to have top-notch stuff. So let's go ahead and unplug this real quick. And then I'm going to unplug this part because this is how I plug them in, guys. So we'll move that for just a second. So I always plug the miner in first when it runs an XT60 connector. Okay. And then plug the power brick in. So we'll plug the wall side in first. We have our watt meter right there. And I've already set it up on my pool. Unfortunately, I had it set up. It runs AXOS, so we're good there. We all know how to do that. And if you don't, I have plenty of videos about it. So there we go. We are running. Fans are ramping up for its first turn on. Bang, we are going. So let's go into the dashboard with my phone real quick. We are hashing at 2.41 at 15.7, 15.16 joules per terahash. We're at actually 2.5. Look at that. And it jumped down a little bit. 2.4. So I don't see any thermal runaways. Whenever you modify them, guys, like change the cooling, change the thermal paste, stuff like that, watch for thermal runaways. Always have your dashboard app ready to go so you can just take a peek at it and make sure that it's not going to thermal run away. So according to the apps, we are 38.8 watts. I don't think that's true. We are 40 watts on the plug. So that's kind of interesting. It actually went down a little bit. Before it was running at 44 watts. So, I mean, not much different. Expect between 40 and 50 watts with a GT800. Okay. And slightly different with the 801. Now, let's talk about the difference between the 800 and the 801. There is some minor board design differences with the 800 versus the 801, mainly in the power delivery system. The firmware is the big one. If you're using a Tiny Chip Hub GT800, use Tiny Chip Hub's firmware. It is tested thoroughly to work with their miners. Okay, guys? It is forked. It is open source if that matters to you. It's there. Proof of concept. They've been doing this for a minute, and they know what they're doing when it comes to writing their firmware. The 800s were kind of left behind because they were considered at the time a prototype. Well, 800s have been around for a while now, and they are running and running and running. 801s are the more refined version, which in my opinion, so far, 800s have been slightly cooler. Not sure why, but they have. They've always been slightly cooler. So let's fire up the thermal camera real quick. We'll see if we have any hot spots. Now, unlike, for example, the Gecko Axe GT, which is a similar design, this doesn't have those pads are covered by the heatsink, so we shouldn't see any crazy hot spots on the front of this. So let's go ahead and see. Yeah, the only hot spots we're seeing is right there at the base, but the heatsink is taking that in already, and it's already warm. You can already feel it. So the back of it has heat sinks in the proper places. So they put a heatsink on the back of the ASIC chips, which, I mean, that's negligible, but they put them on the TPSs where it was important, okay? Or on the VRAGs. Perfect place. Great, tall, almost half-inch tall, finned aluminum heatsink. I'm going to throw that out there a lot because I think that's a good idea. So let's go ahead and see if we can see the back here. Yeah, we can see those heat sinks getting toasty. 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry, I'm in US units, guys. Yeah, we're looking good. We're looking real good. I don't see anything crazy in the desktop. So, like I said before, I'll have links for everything down below. This is a pretty cool miner, guys. Like you've heard it before. If you're talking Tiny Chip Hub, you know that they are like the Ferrari or Porsche of home mining. The Zyber 8S is a prime example of that. An absolutely gorgeous miner. Look at their version of the GT. A white board, big fat bare aluminum heatsink, Bitcoin holder in the bottom, anodized hardware. Like they make good stuff. Okay. So yes, they're a little bit more expensive. Should you buy them? Right now is the best time to buy from them. If you think about it, you're getting two GT800s for $200 plus some tax and shipping. You're getting Zyber 8Ss or Zyber 8Gs 2 for 1. You know what I mean? You're buying one, you're getting one free. To do that, to make sure you do it correctly, add 2 to your cart, guys. Add them to your cart. You need to add both of them to your cart, okay? Just a heads up there. The Zyber Blanc, the very first, in my opinion, BM1373 chip that I've seen in the US. I don't have one yet. I do plan on getting one, but it's there. We've already got it. And they're amazing. Carpoo's Mining did a video about them. They're great. They look awesome. Just, yeah, very awesome. So I think that's what we're going to call this, guys. We saw the teardown. I'm sorry that I lost the beginning footage, but it's okay. All you lost was me tearing it apart. So now you know how to put it back together if you do. Thanks to Proof of Mike for the giveaway, dude. Such an awesome guy. Give him a follow. I'll leave links to his X and his blog. Go check him out. And thanks to Tiny Chip Hub for making such great devices and providing Proof of Mike with this device to do as a giveaway. That's just how cool Tiny Chip Hub is. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate you taking time to watch videos. Links down below for everything. Um, Last thing I want to say before we go, actually, should you buy these? Would you buy this over a GT 801, or would you buy this over a Gecko axe? Honestly, the Gecko axe and this are probably my two favorites. So it's hard for me to say yes to one or the other. I'd buy them both, but that's just me. It's your money. You do what you want. This is probably the best Bitaxe 800. The Gecko axe is a different animal, but unique and awesome. So, yeah, that's it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. We hit 350 subscribers. That's amazing. I appreciate everyone's support. And thanks for using my affiliate links. I'm starting to see a little bit of trickle in from those. That's great, guys. Thank you. Anyways, peace out.